Hello, loves. How are you all? Happy Tuesday. We're always on live on Tuesdays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Today I'm going to talk about how to balance the masculine and feminine energy in your business so that you can create massive success from a place of alignment, right? It's one thing to build a business that makes a lot of money. It's a totally separate thing to build a business out of alignment that is sustainable in a way that feels good, right? And when we create massive success from alignment, we are able to sustain it and we are able to keep building on that foundation instead of getting closer and closer to burnout, right? So that's what I want to share with you guys today. That's what our training will be on. Show me some love if you're on live, whether you're watching live or on the replay, let me know. I am going to double check that this is live on my Facebook page and we are going to begin. So I'm Lily Newhouse. I'm a business and manifestation coach. I am a personal development junkie. I walk the talk. I promise you that. So I'm going to share with you today how I balance the energy in my business to create a business and a structure that is sustainable, right? To create massive success your way in a way that is sustainable and feels good. So let me know if you're on. I'm actually coming on from my computer today. So let me know if this is working. If you can see and hear me clearly, that would be awesome. Sometimes it's a little slow with the connection on my computer, so we'll see what happens. Let me know. I would love for you to tell me that this is working and that we're not lagging and that you can hear me and all of the things, right? So what do we even mean when we talk about the masculine and feminine energy when it comes to business? A coach of mine said this once, and I think that this was so potent in the way that she explained it, which was that the masculine is the knowledge and the feminine is the knowing, right? The masculine is the doing and the feminine is the being. And the actual balance of those masculine and feminine energies, that flow and that action, right, looks different on everyone. So I could tell you how I balance the masculine and feminine in my business, but that's not necessarily going to tell you how you need to, right? You have to find your own alignment. Oh my gosh, hi Nicole. I'm so happy to see you here. I'm so glad you can hear me and see me fine. That is amazing. That means that my new Wi-Fi system is working and it was worth the price, right? So I love going live on my computer. It just feels like such a vibe. I'm used to coaching on Zoom, and so I love doing that here. So the balance of masculine and feminine energy in business is really when you feel free, right? When you feel at home in yourself, when you feel that flow, that balance, that alignment, you know what it feels like when you're in flow, right? That feeling of like you're in action, but it's inspired, it's aligned, it feels easy, right? When you're in your body, listening to your intuition, when you combine that doing with the being, right? So this is alignment. This balance of the masculine and the feminine, the strategy and the mindset, the energy of the action and the alignment of the subconscious in alignment with what you desire, right? This is alignment when you find that balance for yourself. So I would love for you to drop a 1 in the comment if you are searching for a better balance in creating that alignment in your business. Let me know, drop a 1 in the comments if this is something you're working on, if this is something you desire to create. The feminine energy in our business is really when we actually feel free. Hey Jill, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you on live. I love when you guys jump online. It's always such a good energy to have you here. Um, so the feminine energy is that following the pull, following that intuitive nudge, right? This is the thing that is that feeling that doesn't maybe always make logical sense. It's not the breakdown of the strategy. It's the knowing of what you are creating, right? There is a lag. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I will try to fix that as we go forward. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see real quick. Stream. Okay. I don't know if there's anything I can do this time. I will probably go back to using my phone for the next live. But for now, here we are. Okay. So let me pull this up real quick. Okay. So when you are in the balance of the doing, right, the strategy, the conscious action, right, the to-do list, the analytics of your business, and you are in the balance between that and the trusting the pull, right, and the knowing what you want to create and creating it from a place of alignment, this is when business becomes sustainable. This is when massive success becomes sustainable, right? The feminine is this listening to your intuition and your creativity, listening to what's in flow for you. And this balance looks different for everyone, right? Sending you so much love, Nicole, too. Thank you so much. I love you too. Good. Okay. I'll probably have to go live from my phone going forwards, but we'll do our best with this today. So following that pull, right? Following that pull when it's like, I know I want to work with this coach, or I know I want to do this program, or I know I want to invest in this thing, right? It may not make logical sense to you, but you know it's meant to expand you, right? This is when we're following the feminine in our business. It's so important to have this element, or we get in the masculine too much, right? The masculine is the goal oriented, the task oriented. Too much of the masculine is the doing and only the doing, but being afraid to feel, right? Not being able to follow our alignment, really being only in our analytical mind, right? And sometimes what's aligned for us isn't the step 1, 2, 3 perfect thing to do, right? Maybe the time blocking is not aligned today and we're just not in flow in that time of day when we had blocked to create content or whatever that thing is that we need to do, right? We also have to trust this intuition and follow our flow, right? And trust that we are going to be able to create an aligned way. I create content almost every day, right? But I don't always create it at the same time of day because there's the combination of knowing what I need to do and checking it off my to-do list, and also doing what feels aligned and following my aligned flow. Because when we follow our alignment, what we do feels so much easier because we're doing it in that place where we're inspired, where we're creatively inspired, when we're in flow, right? So too much of the masculine is the hyper focus on the plan and the structure and not letting yourself go and feel free, right? Being too much in the masculine looks like being afraid to let go, right? Needing that control, needing to know, right? Instead of trusting, having that knowing deep inside of you, right? Which we all have when we are willing to drop into our body and feel and get in touch with what we desire and what we need, right? When we're too much in that masculine energy of go, 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 do, check it off the to-do list, do the structure, do the plan, feeling too in that too rigid mindset, we start to neglect the things that we need to feel aligned, right? When we're too much in that energy, that masculine, element of ourselves, when our balance is off in that way, we don't feel lit up or connected to our business or our impact or our clients or our work, right? Because we're too much in this plan, the structure, the rigidity, and it makes us feel like we have control, but we might not actually have control at all. And we're certainly not creating that space of impact from a place of alignment that is sustainable, right? If we want to create massive wealth, we are not going to do it from a place of driving to burnout. We have to do it from a place of foundation, from alignment, of a foundation that feels good to us, right? We have the ability to create a business in our unique balance of the masculine and feminine energy. But we can only do it if we trust that balance instead of being too much in the analytical or too much in the vibe and the flow and not actually implementing any kind of strategies or systems in our business, right? So it's this combination of what works best for us with the balance of the doing and the being, the knowledge and the knowing, right? The implementation and the creation, right? Too much of the feminine also is not sustainable, right? It's not going to create that massive success because you need that action, you need that strategy, you need that, right? So I would love for you to drop a 1 now in the chat if you find that you think you're operating too much in the feminine in your business, and drop a 2 if you feel like you're over analyzing and overdoing and over structuring and not feeling and aligning enough out of the masculine in your business, right? Because only the feminine is when you do that, you have inconsistent results, right? Because you're not implementing structure, plan, and strategy on a regular basis. And we have to have that. We can't have a successful, sustainable business out of only the feminine. And we also will drive ourselves to burnout if we're only in the masculine and not following our flow at all, right? So when we're too much in the feminine, we have no consistency in our habits, right? We're doing the inner work, but we're avoiding the structure and the planning. And that's another kind of fear, right? When we're too much in the masculine, we are afraid to feel, right? We're afraid to step back and drop into our body and do that work, right? When we're too much in the feminine, we are afraid of the structure, we're afraid of the planning, we're afraid of the strategy. I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it. And that's not sustainable for creating success either, right? You have to find your middle. You have to find your flow. You have to find the unique balance of the masculine and feminine that feels good for you. And that's different for everyone, right? Levi says too much in the masculine. I totally see that with you. We get to um, go deeper into the feeling and the knowing of what you're creating, right? Corinne, I totally get that, right? You feel like you're too much in the feminine of your business, right? You feel like too much less of the action, right? Less of that go-getter and maybe more of the analyzing and the feeling and the intuition, but not enough of the action and the strategy, right? So we get to find that flow. And sometimes that might mean bringing other people on in our business who accentuate our ability to strategize and plan, right? Or we build a support system that helps us hold ourselves accountable, right? Or we work with a coach, or we do the inner work to bring out that more feminine and the knowing and the trust and the flow in our business. Whatever that looks like for us, it's finding a way to sustain that alignment that's so important to creating sustainable, massive, successful results, right? And there's no space to build a business when you feel off energetically, right? This is not a sustainable, aligned way to build a business, and it becomes unsustainable to create massive success that way. It will not be sustainable to continue to make more money if energetically something is off, right? You will not achieve or sustain growth if you are out of this balance. And if you achieve it, it won't be sustainable. Oh, okay. You guys said cutting in and out, screen is fine for me. Okay. Next time I'll go live on my phone. So thank you guys. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. That's helpful. Probably I'll go live on my phone next time, but bear with me for this one. And thank you guys so much. I love having you on live. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the feedback. It just like, it's so much more of a vibe. It's so much more fun to have you guys here. So thank you so much for being here live. When you do find your middle, oh my God, you guys, you know this feeling, right? The flow between the creating and the doing and the knowing of the being, right? Yes, right. Yeah, interesting. I'm the one and Mal tends to be the two. She's more logical than I am. That's so interesting. And you're able to have that balance, right? And the more you can achieve that balance within your own self, the more sustainable your business will feel for you, right? But exactly what you're talking about bringing someone in, whether that's your spouse or your partner or an employee or a colleague, right? Who can support you in the things that you struggle with and can bring that in, right? I work with someone in operations who helps me to put those plans into place in my business because I'm very much, ooh, we'll follow our alignment, we'll manifest it, right? She's like, okay, but how? What's that structure going to look like? What's the plan? What are the things we need to put in place to make that happen? Right? Yes, Corinne, totally getting that balance back. And I think I've seen you really doing that and working towards that, the combination of the action and the alignment, right? Because when we are doing from a place of who we're being, it feels good. It feels sustainable. It feels alive, right? We feel invigorated by our business. When we are too much in the masculine, we feel drained by our business. We feel burnt out by our business. When we're too much in the feminine, we're waiting for the results and we're not taking action towards it, right? Because part of manifesting is the knowing and the following your flow and your alignment. And the other part is doing that inner work, doing that. Oh, sorry. What the one part is following your flow and your alignment, right? The other side is the doing, right? So we can't just always sit back and manifest, six figures or seven figures by just saying, oh, I'm attracting it with who I'm being. But you also can't create it sustainably if it's only in the doing, 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 doing. I have to do it whether it feels good or not. I just have to fucking go, right? That is not sustainable either, right? Jill says, some days I'm balanced, it can come and go. Caffeine helps, right? Exactly. I totally can relate to that. If you don't love it, you'll quit, Levi says. Exactly. If you don't love it, because you know what? Let's be honest. Whether you call it manifesting, whether you call it intentional creation, whether you call it building, creating this empire is going to require consistency. It's going to require us going from failure to failure without lack of enthusiasm, right? I think was it Henry Ford who said that? Okay, drop in the chat if you know who said that. Going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Can't remember. I don't think it's Henry Ford. But when we are aligned in our business, when we are creating out of a place of balance, a place of excitement around the doing, but the lean back in the knowing, right? We sell, we do the masculine, right? We go on the social media and we sell and we take that action and we're very forward in our business, right? And then we drop off, right? We come off social media, we come out of selling, and we come into our lives, right? And we say, who am I being between the masculine action? Who am I being? What am I doing that feels aligned? And when we have that balance of taking that massive, excited action, going through these sprints sometimes, right? And still then being able to come offline and fall back into our knowing and our being and what we're creating from a place of alignment in who we are, that is when this business becomes scalable at a level that feels good, right? Because if you're scaling a business from only the masculine, you're headed towards burnout. If you're trying to scale a business from only the feminine, you're not going to get very far, right? By not actually doing, right? Because we have to intend for something to happen. We have to have a vision, have a desire, right? Then we have to believe that it's possible, but then we have to take inspired action, right? So it's not just about the believing and the getting behind this energetically what we want to create. It's also about doing the thing that's going to create it, but doing the thing out of a place of alignment, which requires us to have that balance of doing and being, of lean forward and lean back, right? Action in flow. This is how you create massive results, right? Your unique combination of the doing and the being. So I hope that this is helpful. I would love for you to let me know in the comments if this was valuable for you. I think based on the feedback you guys are giving me live, that hopefully it was. Hit that like button on your way out. Drop me a comment, let you know how this was for you. I would love for you guys to give me that feedback. Let me know if there's anything that landed specifically for you that gave you aha moments. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you all soon.